What's up guys, Braden here with SuperATV, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install SuperATV's cargo roof rack on this Can-Am Maverick X3 Max. So let's get right to it. So now what we're going to do is grab a pack of our gasket here, and we're going to grab all 4 of our brackets. We're going to grab some gasket out of the kit here, and we are going to cut 8 pieces that are 45 millimeters in length. So what I'm going to do here is measure 45 millimeter. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to get it close. And then we're just going to continue cutting these pieces here. Again, we're going to cut 8 of them. After I cut my first one, I just kind of use it to lay up on top of the gasket to cut the same length every time. Alright, so once we have our pieces cut, what we're going to do is go ahead and peel the backing off of one of them here. You're going to lay it right here on this edge. And it's going to cover up the hole. That's okay. We'll just go in and we'll notch that out here in just a second. Just like that. So yours should look just like this. We're going to continue doing that for the rest of our brackets here. So then what I like to do is flip it over, put it on a hard surface, and then just take kind of a razor blade or something of that nature and just trim it out. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just going to make it so you can get your hardware through a little bit easier. If you trim one of them, a lot of times that gives you enough to where you can kind of flex the hardware through that gap. Should look something just like so. Now we're going to grab our passenger side rear bracket. Should look just like so. It should have the flat bottom here to where it has no threads. Upper will have a threaded portion. We're going to grab our right side panel. Then we're just going to take this panel, lay it right on top of our right side bracket. We're going to grab our M6 by 16 millimeter short Allen headed hardware, and we're just going to go ahead and start that in to our bracket. And we'll run these down hand tight. Now we're just going to do the same thing for the left side or driver's side. Get our rear bracket, and then we'll just go ahead and hand start the hardware through our side panel into our bracket. So it should look just like so. So now we're going to grab our front brackets. This one will be for the driver's side. So with the side panel laying down with the outside facing up, this is how this bracket's going to install. As you can see, this tab here is going to be to the outside, and then all of your threaded holes are going to be on the inside of the panel. So we're just going to lay this up here, get it lined up, and start our screws. Now we're going to take our right side bracket and install it. Just line up the threads again. Get it started. And then we'll just snug these down by hand. Now we're going to grab our brackets that we previously put the foam on. And as you can see down the sides of the panels here, you're going to have a bunch of holes that are in line, and then you're going to have a set of holes that's going to be a little bit higher. Those will be located here and here on both sides. We're going to line our bracket up with the set of holes that sits up a little bit higher. We're going to grab our M6x20 screws here. We're going to slide them through. We're going to grab an M6 nut. And just go ahead and hand tighten that nut. We're just going to get everything good and started here. And we'll do that for the rest of the 3 brackets using the M6 by 20 millimeter hardware and the M6 nuts. All right, so as you can see, we already have a SuperATV roof installed to this machine, and this machine has also previously had the cargo rack installed. So once you have your roof installed, what you're gonna wanna do is remove this screw that goes right here in the front, the second one back that's attached to the bracket with the clamp on the cage, and moving back to this one where you have your clamp with the bracket that attaches it to the cage, and then the rearmost. So you want to remove those screws. We've already done that. And then also in the kit, you're going to notice that you have quite a bit of gasket. This gasket is going to need to go all the way around the perimeter of the roof, and then also around each of the holes that you're going to be installing the hardware to. You're going to want to double up. So if you look right here, you can see we doubled up. Here, we put one piece of gasket all the way out to that hole. Same thing here. And then on the back with this hole here, we put a piece of gasket on either side. So we'll show you here what it looks like. You just want to make sure that you install your gasket like that before you try to install the roof rack to your machine. So now we're going to grab our driver's side panel with our brackets installed. We're going to grab one of our M6 by 25 millimeter screws out of the kit that have the rubber washer installed already. We're going to take that and we're going to thread it in to the front threaded hole on the roof located right here. So we're just going to take our screw, thread it right down through our bracket, and we're just going to run this down by hand. All we're doing is putting enough hardware in our side panel here to where it'll sit for us as we install our slats. So now we're going to install our back panel. If you have somebody to help you, you can do this on the ground and then take the whole roof rack and set it on there. I do not have anybody to help me today. So the way that I'm gonna do this is that I'm gonna assemble the rest of this roof rack on the roof. It gives me a good place to work off of. And like where I showed you to put your hardware up front, it's gonna hold in place for me as I get my hardware in, but also I can still lift up on this, manipulate it around, whatever I need to do. So now what I'm gonna do is get this rear panel lined up with my threaded holes in my rear bracket. We are gonna be using the short M6 by 16 millimeter hardware that we've been utilizing for our brackets. We're just gonna go through, get all this started. Now that we have this side started, we're gonna grab the other side panel and do the same thing, get the hardware started. Once it's all started back here and on the front, we'll fully tighten our rear plate. Now we're going to use our M6 by 20 millimeter hardware to install our slats to our side panels. So now we're going to install our slats. What we're going to do is take the slat, line it up with the 2 holes on the outside of the side panel, get it started, and then just continue doing that all the way down through the side panel. So for this bracket here, as well as this bracket back here, we're going to use our M6 by 25 millimeter hardware. Just going to take the screw, pop it through our bracket, and then slide it down through the roof. We're going to take our M6 nut out of the kit, go on the inside, start the nut, and then we'll work our way back to right here. Do the same exact thing. Then on our rearmost hardware back here, we're going to use our M6 by 35 millimeter hardware. Now you do have a couple brackets to go through here as well as the roof. So I like to just kind of thread it down through, and then we'll reach back on the backside where we previously had our hardware for our roof, and then just start the provided M6 nut, and we're good to go. Now you're going to go through, make sure that you get your cargo rack adjusted how it should be, and then go through and fully tighten all of your hardware. Once you've done that, that's all there is to it to install SuperATV's cargo roof rack on this Can-Am Maverick X3 Max. Be sure to check the description below to pick yours up today, and while you're there, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.